Good morning. It's November 24th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. A global hunt for neutrinos is unfolding, and Juno sits at the center of a multinational effort that includes US Dune and Japan's Hyper-Kamiokande. Juno is already leading in a precise slice of neutrino oscillation measurements, while its peers pursue overlapping goals that are largely complementary. Scientists describe Juno as world-leading, and note China's readiness to invest heavily in basic research to tackle technology choke points and sustain a long-term physics program. Early data show higher precision measurements of solar neutrino oscillation parameters, confirming Juno's performance soon after operation began. China reports its first results from Juno, a next-generation detector buried about 700 meters underground in Guangdong, designed for exceptional precision. The experiment uses a 20,000-ton liquid scintillator in a giant acrylic sphere with more than 40,000 light detectors, and it relies on two nearby reactors 53 kilometers away as the neutrino source. Neutrinos from Yangjiang and Taishan reactors are collected at the site, shielded by a granite mountain to minimize cosmic interference. Experts say Juno is a central facility for neutrino oscillation research in the coming years and could drive new techniques with broad benefits for science and industry. More than 700 researchers from over 17 countries participate in Juno, reflecting its international scope and collaboration with European institutions. This project is part of China's broader push to become a science and technology powerhouse, supported by substantial basic research funding and complementing global efforts like Dune and Hyper-Kamiokande. Columbia engineering researchers have embedded metasurfaces into ultra-thin MOS2 crystals to dramatically boost nonlinear optical effects, achieving high efficiency on a 160 nanometer thick platform reported in Nature Photonics. The Metasurface approach uses etched, repeating geometries to induce non-local optical properties, enabling strong, nonlinear responses in 2D crystals previously limited by their thickness. The core innovation is embedding nanoscale metasurfaces into ultra-thin MOS2 to boost nonlinear optical responses and enable efficient on-chip photonics. The team demonstrates about a 150-fold increase in second harmonic generation compared to unpatterned samples, significantly enhancing on-chip quantum light sources. The Metasurface design achieves sub-wavelength thickness and remains compatible with existing telecommunications networks, pushing toward fully on-chip quantum photonics. The fabrication is simpler and cheaper than prior methods, using standard cleanroom etching to pattern the Metasurface lines on MOS2 flakes. Theoretical collaborators identified an optimal pattern, periodic lines with alternating widths, to maximize nonlinear response and enable entangled photon pair generation for on-chip quantum photonics. This pattern optimization supports practical generation of entangled photons and aligns with the goal of scalable quantum technologies. The work builds on a January 2025 Nature Photonics study that used periodic polling in multi-layer MOS2 to generate entangled photon pairs, aiming to power scalable quantum processors with compact qubit sources. The broader objective is to integrate these high-efficiency, nanoscale nonlinear sources into compact, scalable quantum photonic systems for telecom-compatible on-chip applications. Future work will focus on translating enhanced second harmonic generation into entangled photon generation and broader on-chip quantum photonic applications. Overall impact centers on reducing device size while boosting non-linear efficiency, paving the way for scalable quantum technologies and moving toward splitting a photon into two entangled photons. A coastal science effort is using environmental DNA to map marine life as ocean temperatures rise. Volunteers collect seawater with specialized filters to capture DNA traces, revealing which species are present without capturing animals, and this helps track potential shifts in distribution. PhD candidate Samantha Beal at Dalhousie University leads 6 regional groups from Yarmouth to Louisbourg, training volunteers to collect uncontaminated samples and mail them to the lab for analysis. The community-oriented Coastal Observatory emphasizes that environmental DNA can identify species and monitor movements by analyzing coastal water samples rather than handling wildlife. Dalhousie University runs the lab analysis, linking field data to updates on marine life across communities. The project schedules seasonal sampling 3 times a year in March, July, and November to establish baselines and observe changes in species distributions and movements. Organizers are actively seeking more volunteers, especially in the Bay of Fundy, to broaden geographic coverage and strengthen monitoring. Volunteers participate in 6 regional groups across the coast, receiving sampling kits and training to standardize collection for seasonal comparisons. The goal is to understand how warming ocean temperatures may influence species distribution, including potential northward shifts of lobsters, by analyzing temporal and spatial DNA signatures. Environmental DNA is shed by organisms as they move and interact with their environment, and filtering water captures these DNA traces to reveal the presence of species without sighting or capture. Nova Scotia researchers emphasize community engagement as a core part of monitoring coastal ecosystems and extending the reach of this environmental DNA-based approach. A new study underscores Medicaid as a critical lifeline for addiction treatment, highlighting policy moves to expand take-home methadone and reduce clinic visit barriers to curb overdose deaths. Researchers analyzed a large sample of 1.17 million Medicaid enrollees diagnosed with OUD from 2016 to 2019, finding about 69% did not receive any OUD medication within 180 days, and only around 31% of treated individuals received medication at all. The study also reveals racial gaps. Black patients were about 1/3 less likely than white patients to receive methadone or other OUD meds within 180 days, with Hispanic patients facing similar disparities, showing persistent access inequities under Medicaid. Across racial groups, Black and Hispanic patients had lower odds of starting treatment within 180 days compared with white patients, indicating widespread disparities in timely access to medications. The analysis compared methadone, buprenorphine, and naltrexone, finding methadone and buprenorphine linked to lower overdose risk than naltrexone, with only methadone offering the greatest risk reduction among the meds studied. Methadone and buprenorphine significantly reduced overdose risk compared with no medication, and methadone showed the strongest protective effect. Over 4 years, treatment initiation within 180 days rose modestly from 27% to 34%, signaling partial progress and ongoing barriers to timely care. The findings come amid intensifying Medicaid funding debates, with potential cuts that could further restrict access to OUD medications during a period of rising overdose deaths. Lead author emphasizes expanding medication use and reducing dropout by improving access, with a particular focus on expanding methadone access due to its strong protective effect against overdose. A renowned cardiologist outlines 5 practical daily habits that can dramatically lower diabetes risk. These changes are practical, sustainable, and accessible, even for people with a family history of the condition, and they center on weight management, physical activity, diet quality, and stress reduction. The top-line takeaway is simple: stress management, a fiber-rich diet, regular exercise, a 5 to 7% weight loss target, and avoiding sugary drinks can meaningfully reduce diabetes risk, with supporting data from the Diabetes Prevention Program and related research. Stress relief matters because practices like meditation, yoga, deep breathing, or engaging hobbies lower stress hormones and help keep blood sugar steady. Small, sustainable changes accumulate: weight loss, regular activity, high-fiber foods, and avoiding sugary beverages improve insulin sensitivity and overall metabolic health. Diet focus emphasizes high-fiber foods and whole grains over refined carbohydrates to prevent rapid glucose spikes. A fiber-rich diet, plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, stabilizes blood sugar, supports weight management, and benefits gut health. Hydration matters too. Eliminate sugary drinks and watch hidden sugars in processed foods, switching to water, unsweetened tea, or black coffee to reduce calorie intake from drinks. The exercise goal is about 150 minutes per week of moderate activity such as brisk walking, cycling, or swimming, which substantially lowers diabetes risk and enhances heart health. Regular activity also supports sleep and cardiovascular benefits when maintained consistently, reinforcing the overall risk reduction.
For medical guidance, the plan notes consult a doctor for personalized advice and emphasizes that even modest weight loss yields lasting improvements in insulin sensitivity and blood sugar control.
This has been your daily brief in science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.